Hey folks, Peter here. Today we have another Rangeman to be working on, and this time we're going to have a little fun with the project here. We are going to be combining these two watches here, these two Rangeman models, however you want to say that, and basically we're going to try to stealth it out as much as we can. So this one was already sent to me apart, and we're going to be combining these parts, this watch, this case, and this watch here. So first things first is we have to disassemble this one. We'll get off these strap adapters here. And we'll be setting stuff aside, probably off camera for now. There we go. So that is the strap adapters off of the watch. Now we're going to go ahead and open this up and take out the module, because we're going to do some screen flipping today. Now, if you're unsure what a screen flip is, it is where you take a positive screen, such as this guy here, and we're going to make it be a negative display like this, or vice versa. One way or the other, but this screen will be a dark background with the light numbers. Just go ahead and get these back screws off here. Be setting stuff aside here. Once again, it might get a little messy. Sorry that my organizational skills aren't the best. But we'll be getting it all together eventually here. And I just realized something. I was sent two sensors here, and there's one in the watch as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get that guy there. I'm probably going to be skipping filming, taking all this apart here, simply because I've done it in another video. So if you wish to see it, go ahead and click somewhere on the screen here. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but it'll be somewhere. I'm not sure which way I'm going to be putting this video either, so if it's upside down, I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and set this case aside for now. And what we're going to be doing is with that screen flip, this is the first step. We're going to be taking this entire module apart. But the first thing that I want to do is we're going to get this screen out of here, and we're going to peel off the film that's on there, that polarizing film, and put it on some other stuff here. I don't know if you can fully see it or not, but you'll see it in a bit here. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do if you're going to disassemble a module is make sure you get a nice open area here, nice and clear. And just kind of visualize where parts are going as you're taking it apart, even though as you put it together, some of it kind of makes sense. But we're going to go ahead and start here. Get some of these clips all the way around there. So I'm going to undo those and then pull this top half off. Let's use the fork tool here. Now you kind of do have to be careful because there are tiny springs in here. They shouldn't go flying on you. But here's two of them right there, if you guys can see those. And as you can see, this is kind of freaking out there. I didn't pull out the battery. Personally, I don't see need to right now. Whoops. There we go. And that right there is actually the light. Remember I was just talking about keeping pieces, keeping a nice clean area? Do you see that right there? Do you see how tiny that is? Just for a size comparison, here's a screw that holds the case back on. Do you see how tiny that spring is? I don't think I can zoom in any closer than this. So if that's not really in focus, not much I can do there. Let's try to there we go. Do you kind of see that there? Okay. Well, guess what? There's two of them. So that is actually the light assembly. Here's 3 more springs here, 2 there. So we've got, what is that, 7 springs total. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over real quick. That light should not have come out already, but okay. Yeah, people always ask me like, hey, how do you change the lights in there? And yeah, this is how you do it. It's a little piece of colored film that we're going to put over that LED. This should come apart here. Is that clipped? Is that one clipped? I forget. I've done this once before on one of my watches. Okay. So I lied, there's actually 3 springs there if you just saw me roll that other one over. There's actually 4 springs in there. There's another one still in there. So this should pull apart here. There we go. It was kind of hooked on there a little bit. There's that's your module there. Not really too much going on there that you can deal with. This cage right here, that actually has a ball. There's a ball and a cage there, and when that ball tilts, or when you tilt the watch, that ball touches the side of a sensor, completes a circuit, and you can have an auto light feature. So that's what that is there. I believe this is that's the quartz for the timekeeping, and then various, you know, this and that. But onward we must. Get your little backing screen there. Sorry if this is off camera. I'm trying to focus more on making sure I don't lose parts versus keeping everything in frame here. So there's a little backing plate there. In some G-Shocks, this will actually be what lights up, but in this one, this is just kind of a backing piece there. Let's go and set that aside. It's kind of washed out here. Hold on. We'll get to this later. But do you see 1, 2, 3, 4? Those 4 holes there? That's what those tiny springs, one's still in here. That's what those tiny springs go into. So here's one of the lights. I don't think I can really zoom in any closer than this, and I don't feel like picking it up or anything. There's one of the lights right there. Matches this one there. Let me grab this. So this watch actually features 2 lights. 1, 2, and in a little bit, we're actually going to be putting some colored film over those lights to change the color that the screen lights up. But we'll get there when we get there. For now, here's 2 more springs. This is for your solar panel. I've explained that in other videos. Generally the same on most of the solar G-Shocks. Those 2 springs out coming out the front. Got our electric ribbon there. And the screen. You know, flipping that over, I suppose I could have taken out those LEDs, but they didn't go anywhere. So now that we have our screen isolated here, what we're going to do is we're going to peel off the polarizing film that is on there and attach a new sheet in a negative formation display, however you want to say that. So we're just going to go ahead and take this. I do have a blade up here. So I got to do this kind of off camera here. Give me a second. So what I like to do is I like to work a blade here under the corner like that. And kind of give it a little bit of a lift. And then I'll just kind of work my way around. Ever so slowly. Hopefully this is still in focus there. If you're seeing lights and stuff and marks on the screen, part of that is just a little bit of gunk on the blade. And just the screen will actually turn on there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not on your side. But sometimes you can get the screen to still light up for you. Even though nothing's attached to it. But once I get that corner done, what I like to do is you just got to work it up. Put that blade down for now. Oh, go the other way with it. Oh, I broke off a chunk, darn it. So we don't need this anymore. We don't need this since we are putting in a new polarization film. But do you see how literally just turning that? Here, let's see if we can't get that real. See how that changes? That's how polarization works. So I'm just going to finish getting the rest of that off of here, and then we will start putting on the new sheet. Okay, so we got a really good edge going there. You got to be kind of careful because you don't want to shatter the LCD, of course. I'm literally just walking it around. There we go. The next step is going to be taking some of this here and putting that under the screen there. I'm not going to show it on camera, but basically I'm going to be taking the LCD display here, or the LCD, tracing it out, or a rough shape, and cutting it out, and then we can start fitting that on there. Okay, so we went ahead and got all the adhesive off of the screen there. I'm not too worried about fingerprints on it right now, because we're going to try to do this all as we go along. But that's what that looks like there, as you guys can see. Kind of fun. But we're going to set that aside for now. And we're going to start looking at those LEDs. So as you can see, that is the LED right there. Let's see if I can't keep my hand steady enough to keep this in focus. Yeah, so basically we're going to take some colored gel, that's what they call it, colored gel, colored film, and we're just going to stick it on the end right here of these two LEDs, and then that will effectively change the light once we light the watch up. Should be kind of fun. So to do that, we're going to have to reassemble this this entire module here. We're going to start by putting the screen back in, even though it is unfinished. Let me just remember how everything gets lined up here. So, that goes like that. That's the top. Okay. So, this goes like this. The lights come from the left side. Like that. So, this goes in here this way. Fun reasoning skills, right? All right. So I suppose before we get too much further, we should put that colored gel in here. I'm thinking we're going to use this green right here. This is a Roscoe Lux book. I don't know which way I'm doing this video yet still. But we're going to go ahead and cut some chunks off of that and stick it in front of the light. I was thinking about this one here, this moss green, but I think that's going to show up a little too dark. So we're just going to go for just a little accent, just a little accent piece here. So this one should work just fine. They don't make these easy to get at either. That is more than plenty of what we need. So I guess we can take this back out. Make sure we got these lights in here the right way. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know if you can fully... Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that unless I set up a whole macro shot. Which I could do, but not very easily at this moment. So those lights just sitting there like that. Whoop, this one keeps popping out. And turning on me too. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting off just a very tiny strip of this and sticking it over the side of the this framing here. And then once we get it all back together, we should be able to light it up, and it should light up just slightly green. And we'll check all that before we get on to putting on that polarization film. So when I was talking about little tiny pieces, this is what I meant. This little piece right here. Let me go ahead and get that second one cut real quick here. Whoops, there we go. Now those aren't necessarily even, but that is quite okay. Actually, we might need to make that one just a little bit shorter. Very, 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 very tiny pieces here. There we go. That should work. If not, we can always come back and do it again. Here. There, now you can see them a little bit better there. So those little tiny pieces we're going to be attaching on the inside here. And to do that, we are going to use our trusty handy friend, the silicone grease. So essentially what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be taking just a little tiny, just a little spot of that, and then I'm going to be putting it on the, where the LED is. Just a little bit right across the front, and obviously it wants to stick to everything. But we don't need that much on there. There we go. There we go. So one thing to keep in mind when working with pieces this tiny, it's good to have extras. So I'm just cutting some extra strips here, since one kind of went poof on me. It probably stuck on the side of my hand or something and then flew away. So I'm just going to cut some more here real quick. A couple more cut up there, and then I'm just going to go ahead and place these in here. This isn't really something I can get on film. Once you get it there though, those are now installed on there. Let's see if we can't focus in. If you look closely, you can see some green pieces here. I got to reposition them, but that's that. So now I'm just going to go and reassemble the module and see how these look. Okay, so we're going to start reassembling this module. First things first, we're going to get this get the screen back in there. Oh wow, that's actually really good placement for those little pieces of colored gel. Like I said, they're tiny little chunks. Drop this in there. So this is the piece with the 4 holes. Those holes go right over those LEDs, and then that's going to kind of hold everything in place. And then in each of these little holes, remember those tiny springs? I have to line up each one of those little springs. Again, I'm going to cheat here. I'm just going to put a little bit of silicone grease into each spot because I really can't be affording to lose any of these pieces. Namely, tiny, 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 tiny little springs. We're just going to go ahead and a little spot there, a little spot there. Okay. So now I should be able to pick up these springs. Let's get these on camera first off. See those little things? There we go. So, if you get each one of these up, and into the hole. I wish I could zoom this camera in more, but this is what you get. That's what you get for now. Grab the next one here. Normally these want to cooperate, so that's a bonus. So that's one light down there. Grab that second one. Oh, there we go. There we go. So that is now 4 springs installed where they are supposed to be. Hooray for us. So now we're going to take that spring here. It's funny that it's the large ones that are giving me the troubles. Now with these there is a correct and incorrect way. One end of the spring is a little bit longer, if you can see that. This end up top here, or down bottom, whichever side. I still don't know which one I'm putting in this video. But this side here is the wider side. And that side stays out. Or in, that goes into the module, I guess I could say. So take that. Pretty easy indicators here. We've got 2 dots right there. And that matches up with those dots. But first we gotta get these ribbons back in. There's 1 and 2. Take our board there. And everything should be fitting in place here. I'm excited to see this. So there we go. Screen's back in place there. Everything's lined up. Take the back of our case here. And again, if you're wondering how things line up, there are 2 springs here. Do you see those 2 springs at an angle there? On this one here, do you see where there's 2 dots? Go ahead and line those up. Go around. Everything should click back into place without a lot of pressure. You might need to put a little bit of pressure on it, but for the most part, that's it there. Okay, so to get the module to start working again here, I actually did have to put it back in the case. You can't really see it right now, but I can actually see that the screen is working, even without any polarization film on there. As soon as we take this here, see that? Yeah! Isn't that lovely? So now, pretty much all we have to do is, I gotta go run and grab some scissors here. And we're gonna cut this to the right shape and peel the film. There's film on both sides here, so if you're seeing any scratches and stuff, that's just a protective film over that. So that is where that's coming from. So let me get some scissors. And well, first off, I guess let's see that light one time, huh? So this should work. This should work. Oh, that's just going to be a nice little touch of green. I think that's what we were looking for. You see that? See a little bit of green there? That looks pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna go get some scissors. And we're going to cut this to the right size. And we've got our polarizing film cut to size. So we're just going to go ahead and figure out which side. So this side is the front, this side is the back. Let me just get this peeled off here real quick. And I've also just wiped down the screen, so there's no dust or fingerprints on there. As for an exact proper way of doing this, just make sure it's lined up in there fairly well. And then I'm just going to work my way down. Don't want any air bubbles or anything. Think of it like a screen protector for your phone. Now it looks all scratched up and stuff. That's because there's still the film on the outside here. But now that we got that nice and covered there, just go ahead and peel this back. All right, looking pretty clean. It is flickering a bit, and that is because of the lights that I have lighting the area here. I think that looks pretty slick. And then I'm actually going to change the lighting in there to a darker green. We're going to use this this darker green here versus what we were just using, this lighter one there. It upon a little closer inspection, it wasn't lighting up exactly how I was liking it, and this darker green should show up a little bit better. So I'll be back once I've got that all set up. So we are back, folks. Here's that module with the darker green color gel in there. The screen lights up really well in the dark now, and it gives off a really nice green. Nice crisp display there. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So now for the next step, we're actually going to be using the press again. You guys might have seen this in another video. We've got our case here with we've got one of the dies in there already. We've got our little catch system set up here. Now this should work all right here. Just make sure we got everything lined up nicely here. Hopefully this isn't too loud. But all we're doing here is, you can't really see it here. Let me, got my hand gripping the press here just a little bit. I'm not squeezing it. And all we're gonna do give this some taps here, reposition it. It's kind of a tight fit in this spot, which I kind of don't like, but oh well. Gonna get that nice grip going there. Checking it. I'm just checking it frequently here, make sure everything is where it needs to be right now. Do I have a smaller one of these? That might help. There we go. So that's all there is to that. One of the biggest components there is on the back side. Let me zoom this back in. On the back side of the glass, they call it, on the solar panel here, there is some tape which keeps that on the case. So that definitely holds it in place. The strongest, I guess, is the right word you could use here. But that is one out. So I'm just going to go and do that with our other case here. Blah, blah, blah. My words are getting all twisted up. Same thing, put the case in. Make sure we got everything lined up really well. But yeah, good squeeze. Don't crank down on it. That's the biggest part here. And don't be slamming it with a hammer either. I don't know if I can stress that enough. But just some... It almost sounds like the crystal's breaking, or the glass, whatever you want to call it. But that's actually the tape coming apart, and it sounds really scary. But here we go. This one's actually, as you can see there, is that adhesive still holding it there? Same thing though, just some adhesive holding it in. See those squares there? There we are. That is 2 crystals out. Crystals, glass, whatever you call it. For some reason they call it glass, which I guess technically it is. It's not a mineral crystal. So now all we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of reposition stuff here. And we're taking that darker colored case there and then using the piece here with the red text and putting those together. Okay. So we've got our casing here with case back on there, little puck to hold it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this gasket off of this crystal. Kind of work it around the edges here real quick. There we go. So this is a shaped gasket. As you can see, it's got that flat side there. So we're just going to line that up in here. Actually, I'm going to take this back off of there. And that fits in there pretty well. I mean, that's kind of a straightforward fit there. I'm just going to give this a quick wipe. It's got some fingerprints on it from being held there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in here, and then I have, it doesn't look the greatest, but I've got this puck with a flat side because the shroud for this button here, that's the light button, kind of gets in the way of a normal die, and I want this to go in flat, so I had to work around that. Didn't get it showed off in my last Rangeman video, but here it is now. This is how this process works. So there we go, got that wiped off pretty well. We can always clean it off again in the near future after we do this step. So this is where it gets tricky. There's not much clearance there, as you can see. But I got that crystal lined up. And then we're actually going to put this on first. So we're going to take this back out. Get that puck in place. And this is all going to kind of squeeze together here. It's kind of a pain to get it lined up, really, but you know, once you get it in there, it's in there pretty well. I'm just going to keep readjusting it here because I want to make sure this is lined up. It's the one bad thing about whoops. It's one bad thing about the gaskets here, especially because they're shaped. So this should all just fit right back in there. Make sure I got that lined up. And I can't really compress this case anymore here. We'll go from this side. Like I said, it is a tight fit in there. Once you get it in, all we should have to do now there you go. That is an installed glass there. Just gonna give it a few more taps here to make sure that it is, in fact, in there all the way. I don't have any water testing equipment. Casio is usually pretty good about their stuff. There we go. That is installed. Let me wipe it off again here. There you go. So that is that red text, red accent text, however you want to call that. The word Rangeman and the word sensor are both red there. Then we got some gray lettering there, but that is installed in that new dark case. So I'm just going to go ahead and reinstall the buttons. Again, that's nothing new. I do have it in my other videos, so I'm not really going to show it off here. If you do need to see it, check the other Rangeman video. But I'll be back once I've got that done. And I think we're getting pretty close to finishing this watch. So I'm going to shut off the lights here real quick and kind of see if I can't capture what this backlight looks like. Nice, nice green there. You can see it on the sides there. But yeah, pretty neat stuff. It's a lot clearer to see in person. This camera obviously does not want to see it. You see I'm having troubles filming it as it is. But yeah, looks pretty cool. All right, so we are back on our little workbench here. Here's the essentially this is the finished product. They were never sent to me, but the person who's watched this says they are going to switch out these studs for the black ones. And I guess all I've got left to do is put these strap adapters back on. So I'm going to do that real quick and grab these the black lug screws, I guess you could call them, instead of the silver ones. Here, we'll see if we can't Show you the difference there. There you go. Silver and the black. Get these installed here real quick. And I don't have a strap handy to do like a completed watch here. But you'll have to trust me, it's gonna look pretty slick. So these are the adapters that let you use the NATO straps or Zulu straps or whatever you want to call them. Pretty neat, if I do say so. But yeah, this one was kind of fun to work on. I'm glad I finally got to take apart a module for a video. Been a while since I've had that idea floating around in my head. And yeah, if you've got any questions, come on, there we go. If you've got any questions about doing some of that work, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Obviously, if you have any other comments on the video, just let me know. Make sure to like the video, share, subscribe with your friends. I say that backwards every time. So yeah, make sure to like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you thought this was a pretty cool video there, I think some people will enjoy this one. Cool. But that's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.